Hi everyone! Welcome to this episode of the Rose to the Ceilings podcast where we're introducing another team member, our friend Jaya. Would you like to talk a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name's Jaya, and I'm in grade 11. I go to the same school as
Mhm.
you guys. And
This is
yeah,
true.
yeah, I'm really excited to be part of it, volunteering for it.
Yeah, we were both super excited when we found out you were interested in being a part of the podcast. Could you kind of run us through your thought process there? Like, what made you see the application post and be like, I need to be a part of that?
Honestly, I saw it and I was like, you know what, this looks really cool, especially because that post, like the opportunity came after I think first semester. And first semester, that's when I took social justice actually, and we learned a lot about feminism. I was like, you know what, I'm interested in this. I want to like be part of it and help like raise
Hmm.
awareness for feminism and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I thought it'd be cool.
That is really cool. And here's the thing, guys, even though we go to the same school, me and Isabel have never had the chance to take a social justice class at our school. So I'm really curious, Jay. Could you kind of talk about like how that works? Like, what did you guys learn about? What did you guys like do in that kind of class?
We read a lot of articles and videos and looked at people's different perspectives and how like each topic kind of goes into one another because it's not all separate topics and separate units. They all kind of connect within each other,
Mm.
especially like what's happening in the world today. We also looked a lot about that. We also looked at like the history and like current events right now as well and comparing them.
Absolutely. So when you picked to take social justice, I'm curious, were you already interested in social justice or what got you to take that class? Was it a requirement?
No, it wasn't a requirement. It was, I don't know. I just felt really interested in learning more about it, especially, and I never like I had a slight like brief kind of surface level idea of like what's happening kind of in the world, like what are like issue like social justice issues and stuff like that. But I want to learn more about it and like go deeper within it and actually like, take the class. And I'm really happy I did. I'm so happy. I actually missed that class, and I wish I could take it again. It was really fun.
How was that environment like? Like, how are the teachers, your peers? Like, was it like a very welcoming place, or was it kind of just like people being like, "Oh, sure, I'll take a social justice class," you know? Like, was it like, was the passion there, did you think?
The teacher, I felt like she was really passionate, and I love Miss Danoa. She's a really good teacher. Part of the class, I feel like most of the girls were really interested and invested in learning more about it. Some guys were as well, but there was like maybe a small group of guys who just they even admitted in the class they just took it just to take it, but it wasn't like a huge impact. Like they were still fine in the class, but a lot of people,
Mhm.
yeah, they were pretty interested and invested in like yeah, they contributed to class discussions and everything well.
Any specific takeaways from that class that you think you could share with our audience?
Like always look into things and make sure you get things from the right sources.
Hmm.
And no matter what like a certain article says, always look at like a lot of videos, articles, and make sure you get the right source for like everything before you base an actual opinion and know what's going on. Because we did a lot of comparing, like in each unit, be like, oh, this is one perspective, what's this perspective, what's actually happening here, and what are like all the biases and controversies within a certain topic. So probably just looking more into things if you are interested in going into it.
I really like that point, Jo. Misinformation is everywhere. And I love that that is one of the main topics that they teach in your class, that how to dissect misinformation and see, what is a good source and what is considered not a good source. And I know that a lot of the things you do a lot of like graphic design posts and some informational posts on different topics related to feminism and STEM. So I'm really curious to hear a little bit more about that and what got you interested.
Um, yeah, I really like the STEM one because when they talk about like a certain topic, then I could research, learn about it, and then I'd kind of come up with like a little script, like a
Mhm.
yeah, script so they can follow, and it helps post and stuff. And that was before I came into the social justice class, so I had a little bit of familiarity with STEM, but then I remember learning about that more in depth in social justice, and that's when we talked about like the articles and how women are impacted in STEM and all that. So that kind of connected, and I was really happy about that. And I like learning about it. It was really fun.
So kind of like jumping off that, is there a topic in feminism that, interests you specifically? Like we say, like we have guests on here who are really passionate about, again, women in STEM. We have guests who are really passionate about like intersectionality. Is there like something that you love talking about, something that interests you, or you're more like a broad, I love women kind of person?
I love talking about intersectionality and how different things connect and stuff. I
Hmm.
also love looking at the history and how
Hmm.
things have changed over time as well, and
Hmm.
like current events and how things are being affected. Because like things aren't solved, like even though it's a known problem, like it's an issue that like especially like women in STEM, how women in general are treated.
Hmm.
And it's just interesting to see more in depth of like how articles are written now compared to how like historically how things have been like said and different perspectives on that as well.
I think that's a great focus. I mean, that love of learning, that is so incredibly valuable. And I think, we always talk about not reinventing the wheel, right? Like, we need to look at what women in the past have done to build
Hmm.
upon that. So I love that you're holding that value with you in
Hmm.
your work in feminism.
And I
Oh,
think we should. Oh, I don't know if we mentioned this yet, guys, but Jaya's gonna be doing some like posts for us. You're gonna be seeing her content on our feed. That's why we're bringing up the graphic design stuff. I feel like we should have led with that. But that's really interesting to us too because you bring up like this history you have with like research, especially like kind of history wise, your experience like these writing for posts, your experience making these posts. Um, which just kind of ties everything in with the podcast. And I know we talked a little bit about bringing back our Women Win series. So that's gonna be something exciting for you guys to look out for. Is there anything else you can kind of give our audience, give our listeners a little heads up of what they can be expecting from you, what kind of fun stuff we have planned?
um, yeah, like you said, I'm really excited to be continuing the Women Win series and doing graphic designs on that. Um, yeah, just continuing that. And I saw some of them on your highlights, and they actually look really interesting. And I'd love to research more about that and more into that
Mm,
as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. This was
Thank
so
you for
much
having
fun.
me.